Let's be honest. Trying to figure out health insurance in India can feel, well, pretty overwhelming, right? With so many options and so much jargon, it's easy to just get lost. So in this explainer, we're going to cut right through all that noise and give you a clear, simple roadmap to find the perfect plan for you.
Here's a question for you, and it's one nobody really likes to think about, but it's so important. Could one single hospital bill completely wipe out everything you've worked so hard to save? For a lot of people, this isn't a hypothetical, it's a very real fear.
And look, this isn't just about some scary what-if scenario. Medical costs in India are climbing, and they're climbing fast. What used to be affordable can now be incredibly expensive. That's exactly why having the right financial protection in place is more critical than ever before.
So, what's the game plan? How do you defend your finances against this risk? Well, that's exactly where health insurance comes in. You should think of it less like a policy and more like your personal financial shield.
When you strip it all down, it's a really simple deal. You pay a small, fixed amount, that's your premium, and in exchange for that, the insurance company agrees to take on the huge financial risk of your medical bills. It's a way to move all that uncertainty off your shoulders and onto theirs.
Okay, so we get why it's so important. Now let's dive into what's actually out there. The very first step is just getting a handle on the basic types of plans you're going to see.
The two big ones you'll hear about constantly are individual plans and family floater plans. An individual plan is exactly what it sounds like. It covers just one person. A family floater, on the other hand, is pretty cool. It covers your entire family under one shared pool of money. For most families, these floater plans end up being way more cost-effective.
All right, theory is great, but let's see how this stuff actually works in the real world. We're going to look at a couple of top-tier options to help you figure out what your perfect match might look like.
First up, let's picture someone who's young, healthy, maybe just starting their career. What kind of plan gives them the best bang for their buck and the right kind of protection?
A really strong contender here is the HDFC Ergo Optima Secure. Now, its standout feature, the thing that makes it different, is something called the Secure benefit. And honestly, this is a total game changer. It automatically doubles your coverage the second you buy the policy, with no extra cost.
So what does that really mean for you? It means you get a ton of protection right from day one. You combine that with their really solid claim support, and you've got a fantastic choice for an individual who's looking for serious long-term coverage.
Okay, let's shift gears and think about a different profile, a growing family. The priorities here are totally different, right? You might be thinking about things like maternity cover, or just making sure everyone is safe and sound under one plan. For this scenario, the Star Health Comprehensive Plan really stands out. It's built from the ground up with families in mind. And its biggest draw? It has built-in coverage for maternity expenses and for the newborn baby, something a lot of other plans only offer as an expensive add-on. So the advantages here are pretty clear. You're getting benefits that are actually tailored to family life. Plus, it has a very high claims settlement ratio, which means they're reliable when you need them, and a huge network of hospitals where you won't have to pay cash up front.
Here, let's just put them side by side for a second. You can see HDFC Argo for individuals, Star Health for families, and another great option like Care Supreme for those who need really high coverage. But I want you to pay close attention to that claims settlement ratio column. See those high percentages? That means these companies have a proven history of actually paying out claims, which is the kind of reliability you absolutely need.
So knowing your options is half the battle. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty. How do you actually pick one? Here's a simple action plan to help you make a really smart decision.
First things first, let's talk numbers. You might be wondering, how much coverage is enough? Well, given how much medical treatments cost today, especially if you live in a big city, a sum insured of at least 10 lakh rupees is what we'd call a recommended starting point for a family. Anything less, and you might find yourself underinsured.
You can actually break this whole decision down into 6 simple steps. Think of it like a checklist. First, really think about your family's specific needs. Then, choose your coverage amount. After that, check if your favorite hospitals are in their network. And this next one is crucial. Understand the waiting periods. Finally, compare the premiums and, of course, double-check that all-important claim ratio.
Now, following those steps is huge, but you know what's just as important? Knowing what not to do. So let's quickly run through the 3 most common mistakes that can completely wreck your financial security.
Mistake number 1, and it's a classic trap, choosing a really low amount of coverage just to get a cheaper premium.
Look, it might save you a few bucks today, but it could lead to financial disaster down the line. It basically defeats the whole purpose of even having insurance.
Next up, not reading the fine print about waiting periods. Almost every single policy has a waiting period, usually a couple of years, before they'll cover any pre-existing health conditions. If you ignore this detail, you could be in for a very nasty surprise right when you need to make a claim.
And maybe the biggest, most critical mistake of all, waiting too long, thinking, oh, I'm young, I'm healthy, I'll get it later. The absolute best time to buy health insurance is when you don't need it. It's cheaper and you won't risk being denied coverage later on.
In the end, it really all boils down to the idea right here on the screen. Investing in the right health insurance today isn't just about paying for future hospital bills. It's about buying real financial security and honestly, just genuine peace of mind for yourself and your family.
So as we wrap this all up, I'm just going to leave you with this one question to think about. It's not really a matter of if a medical emergency will happen, but being prepared for when it does. Is your family's future truly protected?